Good morning, beloveds. I'm not sure I'm awake yet this morning. I'm trying a new blood pressure supplement that has a whole lot of valerian and hops in it. And so I'm sleeping really well, but it seems to make me a little, it makes mornings a little harder than they are. And I'm not a morning person to begin with. I'm by very definition a night owl. My brain really starts clicking at like 6 o'clock at night, and so most of the time I wrote my papers between like 6 and midnight when I was in school. The only reason that I'm a morning person at all now is because I run, and I run in South Texas. And the streets don't cool off early enough to run at night. So I started getting up early to do that. And I actually find that I have more energy. So during the day, just right now, I'm adjusting. And eventually I'm sure that I will go back to the doctor, and the doctor and I will discuss my blood pressure, and we will go from there. But right now, I'm making do with what I've got, which is what we do. We make do with what we've got and do our best to stay healthy and well, and make decisions that are the best for us. And just know that we are doing the best we can. Sometimes we don't have any assurances that we're doing the best we can other than we are getting through it. And that, yeah. So right now, yay, essential worker, we're getting through it. That's been the challenge through this, is that my husband and I are both essential workers. And so we get up and life really honestly hasn't changed that much. We get up, we go for the run, we go to work, we come home, and that would be the difference, is that we come home instead of we go to church or go to class or anything we might do at night. We come home, and we come home. It's better now. At the very beginning, through the month of March, we would both come home busted, just tired. And then April when the stay-at-home order went in, we started to slow down. So it seemed we didn't come home quite so tired, but still tired enough. And now that we're into May, I don't know. So it's been interesting. And I didn't realize how, I knew how much fun doing the runs. What I would like to say is doing the runs with 3,000 of my new best friends, because when we would go and do those runs, Tom and I knew each other. We might not know anybody else. And we would go do these runs, and it was fun, and runners are they're great. They're a great group of people. And I've missed that. I've missed running, 3.1 miles with 3,000 of my new best friends. I feel weird because I'm not registered for any runs at all. Because at this point, we don't know when, there's one scheduled, I think it's the first weekend in June, and it was actually rescheduled from April, but I haven't registered for it because I'm not confident that it's going to happen. And I probably should just go ahead and register for it, because because I had registered for another run in this series, and they ended up doing it virtual. So even if they don't let us do the run, then they'll probably just turn over and do it virtual. So I would still get to do it. I don't know. I'm just being indecisive. But we are here for Ernest Holmes. So it is May 12th. Let's see what Ernest Holmes has to say. And I just saw Cleopatra got on. So good morning, Cleopatra. As my cat charges across my lap. Are you gonna come in and sit down? Yes. And see, then we have those great big eyes just underneath my chin. I wish you guys could hear her purr. She has a fantastic purr. All right. Our Bible quote is from Psalms. It is Psalm 16:8. And it is, I have set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand, I shall not be moved. All right. So let's see where Ernest is going to go with that quote. As I attune myself to the perfection of God, it flows through me. It dissipates all the obstructions of my everyday life, transforming all confusion into love and beauty. I realize that I must bring this perfection of reality into expression, for the mind and the heart of each human being are the only channels God has through which to manifest God's infinite mind and perfect love, which must be expressed continually, that life may evolve in greater and greater perfection. As I permit this reality to be expressed in me and through me, I am joyous in the assurance that I am bringing into being that much more of God. God perfection. I am transforming a part of life just as nature passes through the beautiful transformation called spring. I know I need only realize the true state of being, which is love, that which I really am, to transform all that appears to be imperfect. Love is that which is real, complete harmony. Love is the great harmonizing agency. I stand firm on the rock of reality, knowing all is well, knowing that there is but one, and that one is love. Okay, so the first thing that we have to contend with when we are dealing with Ernest Holmes is sometimes he does run on sentences. The second paragraph is all one sentence, which is where I get confused. I mean, he does use punctuation, but he'll use dashes and he'll use commas, and it's one long sentence. So sometimes he can be a challenge to read because you don't know where to breathe. And I think I'm going to use that last line. I'm going to make a meme out of that last line because I really like the last line. But let's start a little earlier up in the paragraph, because the first thing he says is, I tune myself to the perfection of God. Anybody who knows anything about music, be you a musician or a dancer or any of that, you know what a tune means. And I mean, it's simple as, it's, if you're in my age group, you remember trying to catch a radio station that was just right there on the edge of your ability to catch it. And so you would sit there and you'd mess with the dial and mess with the dial and mess with the dial, and you'd go a little too far, and then so attuning with God isn't that hard, for starters. Because the easiest thing is what you do is you open the channel of love. There's a channel marked love. That's the one you open. There's God. There, that's spirit. So it's fairly easy. It flows through me and dissipates all the obstructions of my everyday life. So I got on and I was talking about the obstructions of my everyday life of being sleepy. And yeah, doing this right here, because I went for a run and that wakes the body up, and this is waking the mind up. So I should be clicking along on all 4 cylinders today. Or maybe I have 6 or 8. I don't know. So I realized that I must bring this perfection of reality into expression. So it's my job to bring this perfection into expression, because I have the the glorious, and I don't want to use the word job, and I don't want to use the word task. Okay, so I have the glorious joy of bringing this perfection into expression. We get to express God. And if we think about living our lives as an expression of God, well, for some people that could be a terrible burden. It could be. Because it depends on your definition of God. So if you have a contentious relationship of God, I can see where that would be a burden. But Ernest says that God is love. And if God is love, then it's not a burden to bring that love into expression. That is a glorious joy. And it's exciting to me to realize that I get to do that. It's a privilege. That's the word. It's a privilege to bring that into expression. For the hearts and mind of each human being are the only channels God has through which to manifest. Which must be continually expressed that life may evolve into greater and greater perfection. All right. As I permit, he uses that word, as I permit this reality to be expressed in me and through me. We have to let it happen. We can get in our own way. So I am permitting it to happen through me. I am joyous in the assurance. So it's a joy. And that's what Ernest is trying to tell us. When we permit this perfection of reality to come through us, it's a joy. It should be a joyful expression. And maybe if it's not a joyful expression, we want to sit back and take a look and take stock and go, okay, well, I'm not having fun doing this. Maybe there's something else I could be doing. They say that if you love your job, you never work a day in your life. I wish that were true. I love my job. I do love my job. I do love what I do. Some days I work really hard though. And those are probably the days that I'm not feeling the joy and the love. And when I realized that, because I admit I was kind of crabby when I got to work yesterday. But after working and doing what I love, I was able to let that go. And then I was a joyous expression. But that's what it was me calling myself out going, well, I'm just kind of crabby today. What's that about? Letting it go and then going on to be that joyful expression that I can be. So I need only to realize the true state of being, which is love. And he just keeps coming back to that. In the month of joy, because May is the month of joy, he keeps coming back to the fact that it is love. I mean, can you think of anything more joyous than love? And all kinds of love. The loud, expressive love. The quiet, soft love. The love of that cat sitting on my lap, purring. She does it because she loves me. She sits in my lap or on my hip and purrs just because she loves me. And most of the time I love her, and then it's excuse to say I have feline paralysis and then ask my husband to do things for me. And because he loves me, he does. So there are all these different kinds of ways of expressing love, and some of them are big and loud and some of them are quiet and soft. So the true state of being is love. Okay. And it transforms all that appears to be imperfect. And I've seen it said where when you meet somebody and the face is perfect, but then you get to know them and they're not your cup of tea per se, then maybe they're not so perfect anymore. But when you meet somebody who your initial thought is, well, that face is a little, but then you get to know them and then the love shines through and that makes all of those imperfections perfect. That's what he's talking about. A flower with a misshapen petal is just as beautiful as one that is perfectly symmetrical. And fortunately, the flower doesn't care because the flower doesn't judge itself. It just does its job. And he says, love is that which is real, complete harmony. Love is the great harmonizing agency. So, his last line, and I love this last line, I stand firm on the rock of reality, knowing all is well, knowing that there is but one, and that one is love. So, if we're going to stand on the rock of reality, we are going to acknowledge that there is only one, and that one is love. And if we do anything, if we do it out of love, then it will be perfect. It will be perfect. So, I'm going to stand on my rock of reality today and do everything that I can in love. And acknowledge that I'm human and acknowledge that I will make mistakes. And when I make mistakes, I will acknowledge my mistakes and get back up on my rock of reality. And that is rock with a big R and reality with a big R. And when I make mistakes, then I know that I'm falling into the little R's. So that's my mission for today. Hopefully you will also stand in your rock of reality in love. All right. Reverend David will be on sometime today. He tries to do it around 5, but we all have our days, right? And I will be back with you at 9 a.m. Please check your emails. A bunch of the classes will be starting soon. And if Jesse is teaching like either 3 or 4 of them himself. So if you want a little FaceTime with Jesse on Zoom, check your emails. I think David's got one, and David and Marcia are doing another one. So there's plenty of stuff going on. We are finding new and fun ways to connect with you until we can all be together again. Know that we love you. Know that we are with you. And I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Have a great day on your rock of reality, knowing that it is love. All right, beloveds, make sure you get some sunshine today. Or if you're out in the thunderstorms, take an umbrella with you. Bye, babe. Bye, beloveds.